starting with the login menu. So assuming you've logged in correctly and you've got to this point, then let's start with file. So past worksheets, I'm not going to show that one as such, but if you want to look at a previous worksheet that you've done, then you can click on there and it'll come up with options in a list of files. The easiest way to do it is just to log into the program and then change the date once you're in the form section, and the exit's pretty straightforward. The help file sometimes updated, so you can find basic features in the help file, which obviously will help. Again, if you've got some problem that you don't understand, by all means shoot Pureform a message, send an email asking whatever it is you don't understand. Sometimes it's like using a computer manual. When you read it first you think, what does it mean? But then when you understand it, it makes perfect sense. So sometimes it's not clear. Under the tools, setup, let's have a quick look at that. There's some basic features in setup. So here we've got the market percent. It's set at 70%. You can change that by clicking on the button. The number of runs for ratings 6. You can change that if you want to. The distance ceiling, that is the ratings 600 meters higher aren't counted. So if you've got a race over 1200 meters, any ratings higher than 1800 aren't going to be included. Days for ratings, it goes back and looks at the last 700 ratings. Again, you don't really want to be looking at a rating that was done 699 days ago, so there is some problem with that in some ways, but again, you can change that. You can change it to whatever value you like. The minimum prize money, 10,000. Obviously, if you're going to do races like picnic meetings or something, where you'd want to be lowering the prize money way down. Otherwise, you don't want to have the value too low. And daylight saving, well, it's either yes or no if you're in an area where you need daylight saving, or if you're in another location, you might use this time change hours and put a value in there. So that's some of the basic features in the setup. This time zone stuff really doesn't matter too much. The colors, these are the colors you can use for the favorite and the second favorite. Pretty much good as they are. In other, these summary and check tabs don't seem to be working that well at the moment. But the idea here is if you want to look at those permanently, they will come up all the time. If you don't want to see them when you first start the program, well then you can click those off. You can also change the odds again here. Not sure what that one does. So you can play around with that one if you want to. Now once you've made any changes to this, you click OK and then you'll have to restart the program. Alright, which is not a huge thing to do. So I'm not going to change anything in there for the moment. So that was set up. Deleting race days. So we have a look on a single day. Why you wouldn't want to delete all, I don't really know, but you can if you think you've had enough with everything and you decide you just want to kill off everything, go for the all, but otherwise I would look for a single day. Let's see about deleting a single day. Let's go for the 10th of the 6th. Okay, so we can delete that one out. So we double click on that and race day deleted. Now sometimes if you've been playing around, you've been looking at the meeting, you've been doing things with it, and then you come back and decide you want to delete it, sometimes it doesn't delete. So you need to look in here to make sure it's gone. Sometimes it doesn't go. Alright, so you might have to delete it a couple of times, but anyway, it's gone this time. Now why do you want to delete it? Sometimes if you're downloading the files, you might have the internet go off. There may be some other problem where you only get halfway through the download, and so the file for whatever reason is corrupted. The best thing to do is just delete it and then run the meetings again. Alright, that way you don't need to wonder what's happened. Continuing on, adding BM figures, etc. What that does, it'll add the benchmark figures, it'll add in the missing sectionals, it'll do the other calculations like the average margins, the win place percentages, and a few other things. Alright, so the program is updated on a regular basis, the data at least, and so the data may have been updated since you ran the program. A lot of people on Thursday like to run the Saturday races. It may be between Thursday and Saturday the benchmark figures were updated, the sectional times were updated, or whatever. If you want to run those, run that, and if you want to then recalculate the ratings, once you change the benchmark figures, the ratings may change. So in other words, you want to recalculate the ratings as well. You can do that by selecting the day that you want to do. The day is in day, month, year format as usual in Australia. It's fairly straightforward. Rating values. This gives you a measure of the classes, the different classes that are available, and these are the ratings that are used. Now you may have some brilliant other method you want to use, or you might want to do whatever you want to do. Go ahead and change them. Every time there's an update, you should just check to make sure that whatever figures you were using, they're still changed. The update may rewrite over these again. Sometimes there's additional classes that have been added and so on. So if you've made huge changes to these ratings and you download the next update, make sure you check it. It's a fairly antique sort of system, but it does work. You change the value and then you click on the tick button to make the change. You change it, you'll be able to see what happens. It's fairly straightforward. That's the ratings. Migration tool. You can grab a file. Say for example, sometimes the meetings are not available. You may request to get the meeting sent to you. You can then use this migration tool to shift the file from wherever you've downloaded it into the location for the files. So the location of the files is some app data blah 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 location, which is complicated in some ways. So you can use this migration tool to shift the files. Daylight saving. When daylight saving is on, you click on this, that'll adjust the times by an hour depending on where you're living. Obviously if you're in Western Australia, we won't need to make any daylight savings. Add missing data points. Some of you have got races going back perhaps more than a couple of years, so sometimes the races have got extra information added in and you need to add in these extra missing data points to make those files work. So you would run that and then run it on a particular meeting. So for example, you've got a meeting from 2018, say, then you may need to add the missing data points to make that work. Otherwise you don't need to do this at all. Meetings, you can look at the day summary here, so you can go back and look over any of the meetings you've already got. To look at the day summary, you may be able to get some information from previous meetings. The comments was one area which I've had a few comments about, or a few questions. So if you click on the comments, that will pop up another window. If we can manage to drag that over here, make it a bit smaller so it fits in there. Basically, all you need to do is just add your comments into there. Okay, so I've already done the comments before, and these are the ones that I would use. So let's just copy and paste them into there. And you need to get the order that you want to use them in. Previous versions of other programs have had it where it's counted the number of times you've used the particular comment and then it's put it in that order. This program doesn't do that. So whatever order you put them in here is the order they're going to show. You might have 20 or 30 different comments if you want to. That's up to you. But for me, I just use some chance, so it gives you some idea of the chance. Prefer, you don't really want it. Prefer first up gives you a little bit more information. Place chance, and then hard to say. But you could have, you know, many different comments if you want to. That's up to you. So once you've added them in there, hit the close button, and then again you have to restart the program. All right, which again is not an arduous task. And that's the comments. And the about shows you the update date. So in other words, this one's got 9th of the 6th. This is a bit newer than what most of you would have, but basically it's the same program. There are always updates happening to the program to make it either better, to fix some of those nagging bugs that always seem to pop up with various reasons, internet reasons and so on. There's about 1 million reasons that can go wrong with this type of program. So those bugs are always being fixed. There will no doubt always be more bugs, but the basic program is very sound. So that's about it for the basic setup for the program. Again, if you've got any other questions or comments, shoot off an email.